Hello everyone, welcome to a very big week in football. It's Thanksgiving week as well as rivalry week in college, so lots of big exciting games to go through. We got the Cowboys and the Giants in a tank bowl, and the return of the Lone Star Showdown after 10 plus years. I'll start with the Cowboys and the Giants because that was the first game. And so I was genuinely kind of concerned for a hot second there about this game because the Cowboys are doing really bad. We only beat the Commies on a fluke drug-fueled game, and we're still the Cowboys. We're still very bad. Then I heard that the Giants are playing their third-string quarterback, and that kind of eased my conscience a little bit, but not enough to where I wasn't concerned. It was a bad, ugly game for the Cowboys, but the Giants are just that bad. It's really rough out there for the Giants. This game was close in the first half, but by the second half, the Cowboys kind of had that in the bag. It was a very unpleasant game to watch. The offense was still not very good. The defense, it did its job, and against the Giants, the defense doing their job, and the offense not performing up to par, but still at least getting scores. Because we got a touchdown here. I know it's the first touchdown we got in weeks at home. It's been that bad for the Cowboys this season. But the Cowboys were able to get another win against the Giants. We kind of own them at this point. Knock on wood. But this doesn't say anything about the Cowboys that we don't already know. Breaking news: the Cowboys are better than the Giants. That just says how really, really bad the Giants are. And honestly, it's not that good that we won, because now we're starting to screw up our tank a little here. And also, maybe the ownership is starting to get delusions about the idea that the Cowboys could possibly make the playoffs. Which, no, don't do that. It's like a 3% chance or something like that. It's a terrible idea. But Thanksgiving football, Cowboys. Hung out with the family, had lots of food. That was fun. That was Thanksgiving stuff. But Cowboys win a game and tell us nothing new about them. They're still the same old Cowboys. All right, and then on to the rest of professional, which we got to talk. We got to talk about the Bears-Lions game. I mean, we could talk about, the Lions getting up to a lead, but then the Bears doing that thing again where they start to slowly come back, and how are they still in this game? And then we get a garbage defensive pass interference that if the Bears did anything with it, then that would have been the talk of the week for that point. But no, that wasn't talk week, because we gotta talk about that ending. Oh my god, that was the single most dumb, ridiculous, idiotic sequence of events I've seen in a long time. I was like, okay, I was like, when the second Caleb went down on the sack, I was like, to call a timeout, call a timeout. And granted, I'm a little way too liberal when it comes to timeout uses. I always panic and use the timeouts way too early. So even when I was doing that, I was in my mind going, okay, but he's not actually going to call the timeout because he's an NFL coach. He probably knows better than me. And then the clock kept draining, and now I'm considering okay, even by my really use your timeouts as soon as possible standards, that was really concerning to me. They just left the game on a freaking Hail Mary at that point. That was so ridiculous. That was some of the worst clock management I've ever seen. That makes McCarthy clock management look good. That makes it was so bad. And I get it. Part of it is on Caleb's fault, but the difference is he's your rookie QB. You're the head coach, Eberflus. You gotta be the adults in the room and say, hey, something's going horribly wrong here. I gotta take a timeout and get my troops back in order. That was such an awful, awful play call. That was, and obviously, Eberflus got pretty much immediately fired after that, which, how do you have a team that's this talented on the Bears? The Bears they have talent. They're a good team. They're a good team roster-wise. It's just that they keep losing on this bad coaching. They've lost so many games on the coach doing stupid stuff. And when you lose a game in the most dumb way possible on national TV on freaking Thanksgiving, you're going to get the boot. So just what a disaster for the Bears. It's good that they got that terrible coach Eberflus out. I have to talk about it. It's the talk of the town. So anyway, yeah, that's the Bears-Lions game. Outside of that, I only watched a little bit of the Packers-Dolphins game, which, breaking news, Dolphins are really bad in cold weather. So yeah, not much to talk about there. The only other game I think I watched outside of the Thanksgiving game was the Bills 49ers game. And that was great because it was a snow game, and snow games are fun. 49ers got totally wrecked because duh, cold weather team versus not cold weather team in the snow is not going to end well. But like, yeah, it's fun to see the snow, fun to watch them all play. That was neat. And as a little side thing, I was basically dead in the water for fantasy this week because we were pretty much tied in fantasy, and he still had the 49ers defense on his team that could play. So that was like 10 points there. But the 49ers were so bad on defense that day, he lost points and I ended up winning the match. So that's fun. That was a cool thing that happened. All right, so professional out of the way, let's get into the mean potatoes, which is really sad to say about the Cowboys. Anyway, the mean potatoes, Lone Star Showdown, first time in a decade. Longhorns, Aggies at Kyle Field, and Kyle Field was rocking. It was shaking, it was loud, they had a good atmosphere there. But the Longhorns were prepared. They were prepared, and they didn't let that crowd get to them. So the final score made the game simultaneously look way closer than it actually was, and also not as close as that. The game was both a blowout and a very close game at the same time. I'm gonna have to try to explain it here. So the Aggies got the ball first, and they decided to go very aggressive in going forward on the fourth. I don't think I would have done that, but I get why they did that. But they go forward on fourth, and they fail. And then we go, and then eventually, couple of drives later, we get that touchdown. But then they get turnover. And it's really close for a little while, but then we get another touchdown, and then a field goal, so it's 17-0 going into the half. But it doesn't feel like 17-0. It doesn't feel like the Longhorns were blowing them out. It feels like they had to tough earn all the touchdowns, and we had to tough earn all the defensive stops we got. So we go into the second half, and it's mostly the same kind of it's 17-0, but A&M's very much still in this. And Ewers, oh man, we won this game in spite of Ewers. That was absolutely not one of his better games. That was a very bad game for Ewers, especially in the second half. Because we had two drives that were like that where it looked like we were in the red zone, and then one of them, Ewers, throws a pick six. So that was terrible. That was awful, and that was the exact spark that A&M needed to get back in this game. Kyle Field is loud, boisterous. It is shaking. It is not a good atmosphere as someone on the road. But credit to Stark, credit to the coaching staff. They kept this team calm. They made sure that they did not panic and did not go away from what works. And they got a long, grindy drive where they're slowly marching on the field. And again, we are fantastic at the run. We have a fantastic goal line. The Longhorns, yeah, they're so good at that. They're so good, and they know that they're good at that. That's why they keep doing it. And other teams haven't been able to figure that out yet. So we were able to push down the field, get back to the red zone. Ewers gets a run, and he fumbles the ball. Oh my god. So at this point, we're panicking again, and A&M gets it all the way to the goal line, and then have four quick shots to be able to get it. First down, they get stopped on the line. Second down, they get stopped on the line. Third down, second down they got sacked, and then third down they get stuffed on the line. Fourth down, they just run out the middle, and we easily get the tackle for the loss on down. That was fantastic. That was really great by the Longhorns. It reminded me a lot of the goal line stand that Oklahoma had against us in the Red River rivalry, not this year, but last year. Except it's in a much more high-pressure situation because it's not middle of the game. It's the end of the game. This is going to swing the momentum hard if they get this. And we delivered. We did not panic. We did not succumb under pressure. We didn't crack under it. And we got the stop. And then from there, it was pretty, just kind of pretty standard, like draining out the last couple of minutes on the clock, giving the ball back to A&M with like only a couple seconds left. And then they let us have an interception. That was like our second or third turnover that day. So, yeah, Longhorns, we still have it. We still got it over the Aggies. Man, I love having this rivalry back. This is one of my favorite ones for the Longhorns, more so than like Oklahoma and stuff. Because, you know, it's an in-Texas rivalry. I don't know a lot of people who go to Oklahoma. I know tons of people who went to A&M. You know, it's a thing here. So Texas gets the win there. Texas goes on to the SEC championship game where we're playing a revenge match against Georgia, which I'm not sure how that's going to go, because on the one hand, we lost hardcore to Georgia last time, and that was on our home field. That was that bad game where we threw trash on the field like a bunch of jerks. But like on the other hand, we have experience with Georgia, and we can like figure out, okay, we have the film to like see what Georgia's doing and how we should handle it. So I don't know whether we're gonna win that or not. I hope we win that. I hope we get the bye. But yeah, SEC championship game. We got a chance to do something that A&M hasn't done in the 14 years they've been in the SEC. Things are looking good for the Horns. Things are looking good. And as for the rest of college football, I mean, obviously it's rivalry week, so there's a lot to talk about. Egg Bowl, Miss State versus Ole Miss. Yeah, that went to Ole Miss, but I mean, Mississippi State kept it close for a little bit there. I mean, what could you say? That's considering how bad of a season Mississippi State has. I guess that's all you gotta hope for at that point. Other rivalry game, Georgia Tech. I didn't watch this game until like literally the last play because I didn't realize what was going on. It went to 8 overtimes. That's crazy. That's very like Georgia's got some scary close calls here. Granted, they're still Georgia. They're still really good, and I do not want to underestimate them in the SEC championship game. But like, it's wild. 8 overtime. I want to say that was a good game, but I didn't watch it entirely, so I don't feel like I have the right to say that. Michigan, Ohio State. What the heck happened? That's really bad for Ohio State. Granted, with their record and being, you know, in the Big Ten, they already clinched their playoff spot, all things considered. But like, for Ryan Day, it's basically you need to win the national championship or you're fired. Kind of. That's that kind of loss. That's like the fourth one in the row. The fourth one in the row against Michigan. Just chaos in Columbus, really. And I guess I gotta talk about it because it was kind of a big story. I don't care about the planting flag thing. I mean, I personally don't think it's respectful, but like I don't care. Like if you don't want them to plant their flag on your center field, don't lose the game. Again, I don't like it, but I'm not going to stop another team. I'm not going to feel like, okay, NCAA's got to ban this from happening or whatever. Like I don't really care that much. But also, police officers, don't use pepper spray on players, please. So yeah, flag planting, and Michigan beats Ohio State again. Other games, Alabama, Auburn, that wasn't really all that close by the end of it, which that sucks for Auburn. I think they missed out on a bowl game because of that. And speaking of missing out on bowl games, Wisconsin lost to Minnesota and lost their bowl streak. That's rough. That's what a bad time for Wisconsin. And they were looking good for a hot second there, and then it all just came crumbling down. Nebraska, Iowa. I forgot to mention this a couple of videos ago, but congratulations, Nebraska, on actually going bowling. I was not expecting, I expected that at the beginning of the season, and then as you went on like a freaking 5-game losing streak, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to lose hope. But no, you proved me wrong. You did get that 6th win. You're going bowling. congratulations, Nebraska. Unfortunately, you're still going to lose in a Nebraska way against Iowa. Yeah, that was an ugly, bad game, but Iowa ends up pulling it out at the end on a defensive as usual. And just, yeah, Nebraska is still kind of painful. Other rivalry games. Notre Dame, USC. That score makes it look way more of a blowout than it actually was. Notre Dame was up by like 2 scores late into the game, but then USC got a score, and it was a 1-score game, and it looked like very much that USC was going to march right down the field and tie the game up at the end of the fourth, and then Notre Dame would somehow find a way to Notre Dame this thing. But no, they didn't. They got a 99-yard pick six, and then USC tried to go down the field again, and the exact same thing happened again, a 99-yard pick six. So Notre Dame wins it and basically punches their ticket into the playoffs, even though they're gonna lose in like the first or second round because it's Notre Dame. Notre Dame is irrelevant. Notre Dame hasn't done anything since the 80s. I don't know if I should get into like talking about the playoffs and like all the stuff in controversy going on with like Alabama and other teams and whether they deserve to be in there or not. Maybe I'll do like either video or a community post on my thoughts. But yeah, Notre Dame won their game against USC, basically punched their ticket into a home game again in the playoffs. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything I want to go over. No, it's not. USC, the other USC, and Clemson put the Cox in the playoff. Come on, man. They beat a Clemson rival game. They have only like 3 losses, which is the same as Alabama, but their wins were more convincing and their losses were less hardcore because one of them was against an LSU team they got totally screwed by the refs. But like these Cox, they're good. They're nice Cox. They're a good team, and they definitely deserve to be in the playoffs more than Alabama. Like, yeah, they beat Clemson in a close game. Clemson, thanks to Miami losing to Syracuse. Clemson's going to the ACC championship game, which, wow, what a disaster! Complete total disaster of an ending to your season for Miami. You lose 2 games you really shouldn't, and you lost a chance on being in the ACC championship game. Very likely lost a chance at being in the playoffs. That's what a wreck. But I'm not too torn up about it because Smooth's going to the ACC championship game. Yes, the pony's right on. And I really hope they take Clemson to work here. Knock on wood, hopefully they do. But yeah, it's ACC championship game is going to be Clemson and SMU. SEC championship game is going to be Georgia, Texas. Big Ten is Oregon, Penn State, because Ohio State lost to Michigan. So, and like, I saw ticket prices, they were like $10, $16 for Big Ten, which is, I mean, I get it. A lot of Ohio State fans are selling off their tickets, and the game doesn't really matter because both the teams are going to make it to the playoffs. But yeah, just a lot set up here for the championship game, for the playoffs when it comes to the championship games. It's winning you're in the Big 12. It's winning you're in the Mountain West. It's just a lot to look forward to going to the playoffs for college football. So that, I think, about wraps it up here. Thank you for watching, and join us next time for the Longhorns versus Georgia at the SEC championship game, and Cowboys Bengals on Monday night. So till next time, bye.